discuss about Ashra. The Jeev and matter are both different from each other. The Jiva is formless, while matter has form. As long as the Jeev remains in its own nature, that is, infinite knowledge, infinite faith, infinite bliss, and infinite power, there is no inflow of karmic matter. But before reaching that stage, the Jeev indulges in the acts of the mind, body, and speech. It attracts the karmic matter, particles of karma vargana. The influx of karma is known as ashrav. In the book Illuminator of Jain Tenets, ashrav is defined as the state of the soul, which is responsible for the incoming of karmic matter into the soul. That is, the cause of bondage of karma is called ashrav. As in a well or a lake, water flows through channels, so does karma enter the soul through the channels of ashrav. There are 5 types of ashrav. The first type of ashrav is mithyatva ashrav, comprehension of the untruth as truth due to the emergence of fate-deluding karma is known as mithyatva. Understanding the means of spiritual purity, that means dharma as an adharm, and adharm as an dharma is a kind of mithyatva. According to Jain philosophy, violence is not accepted as dharma, but non-violence is dharma. Some people consider the act of killing a living being as a dharma. According to them, essential violence is not violence, so it should be considered as dharma. But according to Jain philosophy, violence is violence. It cannot be considered as non-violence or dharma in any condition because violence in any form leads to bondage of the soul. They say violence is essential for the sustenance of life, so it should be considered as dharma. But it is clear that it cannot be considered so, because violence in any form leads to the bondage of the soul. Activities such as fasting, practicing celibacy, and restricting the intake of food, which strengthens our self-restraint, is considered as forcible suppression by some people, and hence they considered it as adharma. The path does not lead to emancipation, regarded as the path of emancipation, is another kind of mithyatva. For example, to think that taking birth in heaven or liberation is possible by sacrificial rites, by sacrificing animal or people, cannot be the path of emancipation. It is mithyatva. In reality, the threefold path of right knowledge, right faith, and right conduct is the path of emancipation. Regarding it as a path that leads one astray and regarding the wrong path as the right one is mithyatva. Considering living beings as non-living beings and vice versa is also a kind of mithyatva. Souls which are emancipated, if understood as non-emancipated and vice versa, is another kind of mithyatva. Due to prejudice or perversity, a person regards an ascetic as non-ascetic and a non-ascetic as an ascetic is also a kind of mithyatva. Number 2 is avirati, that means non-abstinence. Non-abstinence means non-renunciation or desire to consume more and more objects of sensual pleasures. This ashrav prevents one from following the path of renunciation. This leads to indulgence in sensual pleasures. Due to the effect of deluding karma, called mohaniya karma, the feeling of non-abstinence arises. Number 3, pramad, which we call remissness. Pramad means the absence of vigor and enthusiasm in activities of righteousness on account of the rise of deluding karma, called indulgence producing karma. One is filled with remissness. As a matter of fact, pramad is a state of unawareness of the self. In this state, people pay heed only to unrestrained activities and forget or neglect the self, indulging in mischievous and unrestrained activities such as malaise, bad jokes, playing games, etc., are considered as pramad. Number 4, that is kashai. Feelings of attachment and hatred are kashai. Anger, pride, deceit, and greed are all form of patience. Each one has a further four subcategories: Anantanubandhi, Apratyakyan, Pratyakyan, Sanjwalan. The first type of anger is compared to a scratch on a stone which persists for an indefinite period. The second is compared to a scratch on the ground which is less persistent. The third is a scratch on sand which does not last long. And the fourth is like a scratch on water which is instantaneously obliterated. The pride. First type of pride is compared to a pillar of stone which does not bend. The second type is known as a pillar of bones which hardly bends because of its flexibility and intensity. The third is like a pillar of wood which bends a little, and the fourth is a bower of creepers which is totally flexible. The four types of deceit are respectively compared to the root of a bamboo tree which is very crooked, the horn of a sheep which curves a little, the wavy lines of urine made by a walking bull, and the skin of a bamboo peeled off which is still less curved. The four types of greed are compared to the color of a silkworm, mud, sunflower, and turmeric, respectively, which differs in degree in respect to its intensity and duration. These four kashais: number 1, Anantanubandhi, cause of endless transmigration. Number 2, Apratyakyan, cause of non renunciation. Number 3, Pratyakyan, cause of prevention of complete renunciation, that is, allowing only partial non abstinence. Sanjwalan, cause of prevention of freedom from passion. Number 5 is yoga, ashrava, that we call it activity. The vibration of the soul due to mental, vocal, and bodily activities is called yoga. They are produced by the destruction or destruction cum subsidence of the virya antray karma as well as the rise of namaskar status. There are two types of yoga: Shubh yoga, that is known as auspicious activities; Ashubh yoga, that is known as inauspicious activity. Shubh yoga means the spiritual action of penance. Such auspicious activities cause the bondage of auspicious karmic matter. Inauspicious activities means evil or sinful activities. Such activities attract inauspicious karmic matter. So this was the description of Asharva. It's a one type of Tattva. Om Arham.